Okay guys, so main armaments of your Thunderhawk then. Weapon housing, which goes on the top hull. There is the turbo laser that you can pop on, which is one of the Titan level sort of weapons. Or there is the standard Thunderhawk cannon. What I have done is I've taken my Dremel and hollowed out the slot in here, glued a magnet in place and sort of filled the gaps with very thick super glue to hold it. And on the backs of the weapons, again, hollowed it out and popped some magnets and then just built up the gaps around it with copious amounts of thick super glue, so that my Thunderhawk can be swapped from the Thunderhawk cannon, which fits very nicely into there, pretty much lines up perfectly. Or if I don't want the Thunderhawk cannon, I can put on the turbo laser. So depending on points, I can swap it around. So the next thing I'm going to do, now that the magnets are in place and everything's all dried, is I'm mounting this onto the top section of the Hawk. Now, for those of you with an astute memory, there are these two slots on the bottom here, which these two locator nubs go into. So once it's on there, and there's that rail, and as I said, you can have the turbo laser or the cannon. Whoop, get in there. Helps if I have it the right way around. And that just sits in like that. Now, one of the problems is this is not a perfect fit here. So I'm going to glue it into place, and then I'm going to go around it with some green stuff to fill these gaps on the bottom. So let's crack on with that then, folks, and then I'll show you what it's all like. Okay, so it's on. I've gone around it with green stuff, filled the majority of the gaps. There's still this tiny little one here that I'll paint some liquid green stuff in. But that now is the top section, and as you can see, turbo laser fits quite nicely. So let's move on to our next section of the build. Right guys, the next part that we're going to put onto the Hawk are the attack foils with the Lascannons on. So as you can see, I've taken the Dremel to it and taken these pesky Aquillas off of the attack foils, so you get the two of them, and you have two of these little sections. Okay, and they're curved bits of resin with these rivets on. So one of these goes with each wing. Our top hull has these little spaces in, which, as you can see, fit these quite nicely. Now you may need to do a little bit of trimming to the ends, and you can glue these static, you can glue them up, you can have them left mobile, however you want. Mine are going to be left mobile, so for the moment I'm going to fold this up, and these pieces here are designed to fit into these gaps, okay, and they hold this in place. Now I am going to be doing this off camera to put them in, to make sure that I get a nice attachment across here and that I'm not getting any glue onto this hinge, because that would be a very bad thing. So I'm going to do that off camera, and then I'll come back and show you what it's like with the wings and the aerofoils actually attached. Okay guys, so what we have is looking dangerously like a Thunderhawk. Got the wings on, got the attack foils on, and the attack foils both have a little bit of tension to them so that they can hold themselves up. One only when it gets above a certain point though. That will probably tighten up once there's paint on it there. But it also means that I can get the wings off and on with relative ease, because these come up and down as they should. Got the magnetised cannon for the top, and the other weapon that I can swap it to. So we're doing pretty well. The next thing that we're going to look at putting together, guys, we've done the cannon so far, we've done the attack foils. The next step that we're going to do finally is the landing gear for underneath. Now I am not, let me just take this off, going to be, this is less to pick up, attaching everything just yet. What I'm going to do is get everything built up in place, and then I'm going to keep the landing gear separate for painting, but have it just so it all slots and fits in. So that is the next part of the project that we'll take a look at in the third part of this video. So let me get all the bits together and let's do some landing gear. Right then, ladies and gentlemen, so to make the landing gear so that the big bird can stand on her own, front foot, which has this little, almost like the targeting sensor in the front and the axis in the second, short thick piston for the front, this long supporting piston, also part of the front apparatus. Okay. When the hawk is the right way up, this is your left leg. Similar to that. So the leg with a lamp on the front, the rear piston, which has this little nodule here. This is the top part that goes into the body of the hawk. These are side specific, you'll need to fit them just to double check. And the supporting piston, and then to the foot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to the side for a second, and I'm going to start by building the support section of the very front. Now, as I said, the main piston goes into this back section here. Okay, this smaller supporting piston goes in the front there, and the two meet like so. Because I want to be able to get in and paint everything around here at the moment and not have this great big foot in the way, what I'm going to do, as soon as I find where I've put it, is I'm going to pop a dab of glue on here. And that's the only bit of gluing that I'm going to do at the moment, just so I have these where they're going to sit, and I'm going to let that set. I'm also going to cheat slightly and use my activator spray so that I get an instant set, and they're in the right place and they are how they're going to be to support the actual weight of the hawk when it all goes together. Okay, one foot down. Next foot, drag that across, and let's do this side here. Okay, so again, these, as I said, are side specific. What you want to do is put it in and make sure that as this is located into here, that A, this nub is facing the front of the craft, and B, as you look at it horizontally, this section is flat, is horizontal. Okay, because if we try and put the foot on there, it's not going to sit square. So this is the wrong side. If I reach across this section, what you'll find is if I fit this bottom part into here, sits nicely. This little nub is still facing the front, and as you look down it, this is sitting flat for the foot to go on. Okay, we get our other piston. You notice one side is longer than the other. The long side you want pointing towards the outside of the craft, and again your two parts should meet like so. So as before, I'm going to pop a bit of glue here and here, and I'm going to just hold this together like so that everything sits where it should. A little bit of activator for a good instant stick. And then this will have eventually the foot plate on top. And we'll do the same again for the other side. A little bit of glue on the nubs the way we need it. Piston in place, and make sure that they meet up. Once I'm happy that everything is sat in the right areas where it needs to be, little spray, little bit of spray, and it's going to be golden. So that's everything sat where I want it to stay. That's the first part of this bit of the assembly done. Okay guys, so what I've done now is I've taken a thin piece of blue tack and I've put it into each of the main piston hollows. Very, very thin piece. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take each foot, pop a little bit of glue and just put it in place. Okay, so there's a little bit of glue on each foot. Then I'm going to flip it the right way up so that the blue tack will hold the pistons in place, and then let the glue set on here so that it's going to keep the feet true and in line for when the Hawk is, I say face down, is down on the ground, is not up on its flying stand. So all three bits of blue tacked in. So let's pop a decent amount of glue into here, and into, oh, phone's going off, into here. Okay, front foot with its little rangefinder, obviously onto the front piston. Now these feet have the piston mounting points on either side. You want the mounting points to the inside of the craft. So that one goes onto there. This one goes onto here. Okay. Now the theory is, because I use quite thick glue, I should be able to flip this over and they should hold in place. This is the theory. There might need to be just some final jiggery pokery. But no, absolutely perfect. So if I just bring this out and down, whee, down, 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 down. Nice new tripod. And pull this back out a little. What you should be able to see is the feet sitting nicely underneath there. Okay. Everything's sat as it should, everything's nice and square. So if I go around with my magic activator and I do a little spray there, a little spray through into there, and a spray across to the other side, I'm going to give that a minute or two to just sit and set. The blue tack's holding the pistons where they need to be. The weight of the craft is holding everything down onto the feet, and it's keeping the feet square. So that, when everything's dried, is the feet done. Nice and easy. And we are getting dangerously close to having this Thunderhawk all done, sorted and ready for paint. Which I've got to tell you, painting this thing at the moment is an ever so slightly terrifying prospect for me. But I'm sure it'll all work out okay in the end. And last but not least, on the assembly of the landing gear, folks, there are these two flaps. Okay, now these two flaps go over the top of the back of the struts. So I'm just going to pop this off the gate very, very quickly, the run. So it looks like that. Little L shape, little hinge at the bottom, track on the back. Now let's say, for example, you're not putting your legs on the struts, you're having them just flat down into the hollows. There's this big gap at the back here, which fits nicely like so. So that's if you're having everything flat. Obviously this is the wrong way up, but you know, flatten into, cover the hollow, have your Hawk flying. My Hawk is not flying. Well, is flying, but has the landing gear down as though it's making an approach. Let's go with that. So these flaps get glued on, open at the back. Okay, so I'm just going to pop some glue on and stick both of these bad boys in place like that. And then that is everything all done, all sorted for the landing gear. Okay guys, the last little bit that I'm doing on this video is the front hatch, and then that's pretty much the exterior superstructure complete, and all that's left is detailing, which is all the little bits and bobs like the weapon systems, the sponson mounted heavy bolters, the missiles on the wings, the air brakes on the side, and then we're pretty much done. So I have the front ramp, and we have the two bits that basically pivot around here, around this side of it, and hold it in place and stop it falling out. So, quick bit of repositioning, and let's put the front door on. Right guys, so first thing you want to do is just have a quick dry fit of your ramp to make sure that A, it fits nicely, and that you can have it closed and open and it's not going to catch too much. Okay, whoop. So I'm going to pop it closed for the moment, knocking the camera stand. Now what you'll see, if I just zoom in on it quickly, this section here, this is what we're covering. So we need to pop a little bit of glue on this very top section here, but none around the hinge. Okay, this ridge on here will line up with a ridge on there. Okay, on the back of these, I'm trying to reach around all my light sources, you'll see that there is a section that's a little bit cut away. We want that down over against here, and we want it to slot in. Fingers are all in the way. Something akin to that. Okay, so we need glue to the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a little bit of glue on the back of here, and I'm going to pop this hinge in place. Now this is something, guys, that I'm going to do off camera, purely because it's fiddly and I would like to be able to get this right so that my doors will open and close unobstructed. So folks, let me just work some magic on here and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. I have the two hinges in place, as you can see, and now my front ramp opens and closes without too much of an issue there. So, superstructure of the Thunderhawk is all together now. We've done the landing gear, we've done the wings, we've done top and bottom, we've done the aerofoils, we've done the ramp, we've done the attack foils, we've done the weapons, we've done the guns. So from here, as I said, it's the small parts, it's the detailing that comes next. So we're going to be taking a look at putting the air brakes on the side of the main structure. We're going to be taking a look at building the heavy bolter sponsons, and we're going to be taking a look at mounting the bombs and the missiles on the underside of the wings. Very, very, very close to being done, guys. I know, really need to get this to paint soon. Is it wrong that I kind of want another one? Anyway, folks, stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.